When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be hard. Like early 90s heavy metal hard.
I'm yelling and screaming and I'm loud. Roar!
Geico makes it easy. You can review and update your policy or report a claim on Geico.com or the Geico mobile app. Because shouldn't we all have a little less stress in our lives?
I'm not even upset about anything.
Jihad of your minds. Welcome to A Spontaneous Combustion. This is Robert Phoenix. You're listening to 15 Minutes of Flame. And the country, smoldering. They're having their 15 minutes of flame, aren't they? The left is butthurt. They are butthurt, and they are not taking the results of this election lying down. Although some of them might be curled up with pillows, blankies, and hot chocolate in a safe space, just before they go out and hit the streets and start burning down cars and businesses. This is an amazing time. You know, I talked about this the last time I was at Gaia, and I looked at that we were going to have riots post-election, and we have. But what's different about that in that scenario is that I really thought that there was a very strong potential that the election was going to be so close that they were going to have to delay the actual results of the election. And the difference here is that even though they had to wait till about 2 a.m. to announce that Trump was the winner, we do have a result, and it is a resounding result. And as the numbers have been finally counted and tallied, he has won both the popular and the electoral votes, and yet some people want a recount. Just because Barack Obama won his first election when he beat Loretta Sanchez, actually Loretta Sanchez beat him, they redistricted, they counted the votes, and lo and behold, Obama won. That's how he got into office. Has not won really a legit election until he faced McCain. It was legit, but it was so stacked in his favor that, I don't know, the Cookie Monster could have beaten John McCain that year. But what I really want to talk about today, what I really want to spend this precious 12 minutes just taking a blowtorch to is Hollywood. I am sick and tired of Hollywood. I am sick and tired of these celebrities who think that they know better than the majority of America, that they are part of this enlightened caste, and that due to the fact that they get to hang out with really powerful and popular people and have some kind of opinion. And I don't care if you're on the right or the left. I don't care. I don't care if you're Kid Rock or Robert De Niro. We're going to talk about Robert De Niro today. Just because you have a camera in front of you and a microphone, and you can lie better than anybody else, because that's what acting is, it's lying, it doesn't give you an exalted status. And we're tired of it. We don't give a shit anymore. Let me play you Robert De Niro's pre-election rant on Donald Trump, and then I'm going to play you Robert De Niro's post-election synopsis of the Trump presidency. Here we go.
Stupid. He's a punk. He's a dog. He's a pig. He's a con, a bullshit artist, a mutt who doesn't know what he's talking about, doesn't do his homework, doesn't care, thinks he's gaming society, doesn't pay his taxes. He's an idiot. Colin Powell said it best. He's a national disaster. He's an embarrassment to this country. It makes me so angry that this country has gotten to this point, that this fool, this bozo, has says. He talks how he wants to punch people in the face. Well, I'd like to punch him in the face. Is this somebody that we want for president? I don't think so. What I care about is the direction of this country. And what I'm very, very worried about is that it might go in the wrong direction with someone like Donald Trump. If you care about your future, vote for it.
All right. Very strong words. Very strong words. What if, say, I don't know, Chuck Norris? What if Chuck Norris said before Obama got elected, he's a con, he's a jive shucker, he's hustled everybody from Hawaii to Chicago, he's a gay pimp, he's a drug user, and I'd like to punch him right in the solar plexus. How do you think Chuck Norris would have been received? By the way, Chuck Norris probably likes Donald Trump. Maybe Robert De Niro would like to punch Chuck Norris, because punching the President of the United States has grave consequences. So grave that Robert De Niro's changed his tune just a little bit. Let's play the post-election version of Robert De Niro.
You know, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm sure he'll do some good things no matter what. Nixon did some good things too, and I'm just waiting to see.
You can't punch him though now.
No, can't do that.
You can't do that.
That's all symbolic anyway. I was only just saying it the way he says it. Hopefully he says those things he doesn't really mean them. We're going to see what he really does now.
Do you think we'll see more of the riots that we saw last night?
I've said this for weeks, that's going to happen. He bragged that was going to happen if he wasn't nominated, but it's going to happen with him now. I don't see how it can't. People are so upset.
He's been so...
He was contrite. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Now, before you wanted to punch his face out, and you call him a dog and a mutt, a con. Now he's singing a different tune now, isn't he? All symbolic. Oh, of course, it's all symbolic. Nothing means anything. Truth is relative. Morality is relative. Isn't that great? Einstein came along and gave us a whole new universe. Let me say something about Robert De Niro. I thought when Robert De Niro brought Vaxxed to his film festival that he was actually doing a good thing. That Robert De Niro had some cojones. That he was moved by the spirit of truth to bring something so charged, so powerful to his film festival so people could watch it, discuss it, investigate what's going on with vaccines and the CDC, because he has a child that's autistic. And then he got a phone call from somebody from a high-ranking position, either with the CDC, somebody in Hollywood, maybe his handler, who knows. And he pulled the film. He pulled the film. This is somebody who has a great deal of money, some power, although it's kind of waning. He's getting up there. The old star system Hollywood is starting to fade. The icons are going to be leaving us pretty soon. You're going to see them. They're all going to go. They're either going to die. They're going to be put into places, that are 12th house related, resorts, homes, whatever. They're going to fade out of public view. Their power is dimming and fading. What did he have to lose? What did he have to lose to run the film? Robert De Niro, you have no balls. You had the balls to be able to talk about how you wanted to punch Trump. You don't have it. You don't have it now because he's president of the United States. Come on, tough guy. And you weren't so tough when it came to your film festival and Vaxxed. You may as well have been hanging out with some of the snowflakes with a blankie and some hot chocolate. while the CDC or your handlers or the studios or the city of New York, who knows, got to you. That will be your legacy. It won't be the film that you've been working on for such a long time, the comedian. No, that won't be your legacy. Not for me. Your legacy is when you turn tail and you did not stand up to the critics or the social or the economic pressure for your own film festival to show a movie that can enlighten and change people's lives, no matter how you think about or agree with the subject matter. You buckled. So who are you going to punch now, Robert DeNiro? How about Chuck Norris? Wouldn't you love to see that? How about for money? How about for charity? How about for charity? Robert De Niro versus Chuck Norris for charity. Charity of Bob De Niro's choice. To see if he could last more than 10 seconds with Chuck Norris. If he could last more than 10 seconds with Chuck Norris, I don't know. He could donate to the Puppy Hot Chocolate Blanket Fund for colleges across America. How about that? Let's turn that into a reality show. That's what I'd like to see. Hollywood needs to go. They're talking about draining the swamp of DC. Let's drain the swamp of Hollywood. We're tired of what these people think. We're tired of how they look down upon us. We're tired of them saying, we're going to move. We're going to go to Spain. We're going to Canada. Not one of them is going to leave. Because it's all symbolic. It was just a symbolic gesture. I was never going to leave. My friends convinced me not to leave, to continue the fight, to stand up for what's just and true. None of them will leave. Do you know why? Because they don't have the heart to leave. They are not people of their word. Words mean nothing. Nothing. They're a joke. And they're on their way out. And I'll tell you why. Have you been to the movies lately? They're pretty bad. Hollywood is invested in sequels and remakes because they already have the scripts. They don't have to pay for a fresh, brand new script. They already have the scripts. They just pay for the rewrites. That's all they have to do. They're into franchises. And have you seen the actors under 30? They are not iconic. They are not. They don't have the same pull. De Niro may be a completely misguided and spineless man at this point, but he has star power. Travis Bickle is iconic. Dustin Hoffman, Jon Voight. These people played iconic roles. Pluto and Leo, they were stars. There is no more star system. None. Jesse Eisenberg might be a nice little actor, but we're not going to be talking about Jesse Eisenberg in the same breath as Paul Newman or Lee Marvin or Clint Eastwood. Look around. See who's in these movies. They're dying. The star system is fading. Robert De Niro, George Clooney, Angelina Jolie, they are all symbolic of the fading light emanating from the last days of Babylon. This is Robert Phoenix, and this was your 15 Minutes of Flame.
When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be confusing. Like Swedish techno confusing.
Bark, bark, meow, meow. Dance with me, purple cow. Bark, bark, meow, meow. Ooh, you lovely cow.
Geico makes it easy. With 24/7 access, all you have to do is go to geico.com and you could save money on car insurance. It just makes sense. Unlike,
Dance with me, purple cow. I like your moves.